Shit. Okay. What's going on, people? Welcome to another special live broadcast, and I brought my friend here, Rachel Stewart. How you doing, Rachel?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell them what it is that you do.
Sure. So I am an integrative health coach, which means that I work with the mind, body, spirit to bring about massive transformation in people's lives in any which area or aspect that they're looking to work on.
Yeah.
So you can find me here on YouTube at Spend Smart, Live Happy, as well as on Instagram and Facebook under the same name.
Beautiful. So basically, you're a light warrior.
I try to be.
Yeah, part of the Super Homie Squad. So,
yep.
And so, you know, we're all into astrology and into spirituality and the ascension and all that stuff. But, you know, fitness is a big part of life too. And I know a lot of people out there, you know, bridging the gap between fitness and spirituality, I think is really important because, you know, your fitness journey can be a very spiritual process. I know it has been for me. And the topic we're going to sort of stay around today is going to be getting started on a new fitness journey. Now, this can be something like if you are recovering from an injury, or if you've never worked out a day in your life, or you just had a baby, whatever the case is, if you're in a place where you're like, I want to get in better shape, then that is you starting your fitness journey, because each one is different. Okay. So why don't you build on that, Rachel?
Sure. So I believe that in the transformation process, regardless of whether you're looking to lose weight or improve your finances, your relationships, that spirituality is the fundamental key to that transformation process.
100%.
So it doesn't really matter what words you use, whether you resonate with a particular religion or other type of, you know, even esoteric or modern belief, or any form of spirituality. It doesn't really matter. It's what you believe in, is that which is greater than yourself, and then tapping into that to bring about the transformation process. So when you look at the subject of like combining spirituality with fitness and health, it goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. Because
the health of your body is not just how much muscle you have, how little fat you have, but the whole health of the whole system, because everything works together.
Right. We consume things emotionally. We consume things supplementally, nutritionally. And the interesting thing is nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of trends of fear-based process and of these fad diets and these fad routines, even these fad thought processes. Like, there's nothing that drives me more nuts than like people that are like, you know, push through it, push through it, push through it. It's not about pushing through it. You want to embrace the aspects of your body that you want to improve, but it's about balance. It's about listening to your inner self. So and that's where experimentation comes into play, right? So, you know, a lot of times what people do is be like, I want to look like that person, right? And so you may go up to that person or go on their website and see how they train. So you train like them to try to be like them, and that's the wrong answer. And that's what everything is marketed around, and it's really sad, because we're not that person. We probably have very different genetics than that person. We have different needs. We have different emotional states and thought processes. So everything is going, we try to copy what they're doing to get a body like theirs. And we're just going to lead to frustration. Like, nothing's really going to work. Your workout's going to suck because you're not doing it for you. So what does that mean, right? That means that we have to experiment. We have to get out there and try different things. Try yoga, go rock climbing, go for a hike, see how you feel, right? If you don't feel good doing it, it ain't for you.
Yeah.
Because this process is supposed to be fun. And when it's fun and when it gives you energy, then you will get in better shape, because that energy, that emotional aspect of that, making like releasing endorphins. Not all exercises release the same kind of endorphins for everybody. Right? So don't force yourself to do something that you hate because you think it's going to get you a result that you want, because you're looking at you're looking at an end result that you want from an ego perspective. So when you come from your heart, you want You want to focus on what you feel, not on what you see. Okay? Because when you feel great, confidence is the sexiest thing ever.
Absolutely.
Right? So not everybody's going to be a bodybuilder. Not everybody's going to be a bikini competitor. You know, you may want to, you know, even if you want to look like that, when you look like that in your mind, then the physical appearance doesn't even really matter a whole lot.
And I think it's a great point you're making about like the fad diets and just as we were talking about where it has to be an integrative approach, when you're focusing just on like, you know, less calories in and more energy expended, that kind of model, which is a very broken model, all you're doing is addressing the physical. So that's where, especially as a female, I understand where I had a personal history of sexual abuse and trauma and other things that there's so much emotional and psychological elements that were tied into the kind of consistent, like sustaining of my obesity, that it wasn't until I tried every fad diet under the sun for a good decade after the birth of a child, just yo-yoing, and I could lose 30, 40 pounds, you know, in 3-4 months, the kind of rapid success everybody wants to see. But the minute that more life stress came, you know, triggers and things of emotional, psychological aspect came in, the weight would come right back and then some. And every time you do that, you're shocking the system in a negative way. And it was very interesting how I saw every time that I regained weight, it redistributed differently. My body changed at a compositional, you know, level again and again and again. And some things, you know, there's so much that the body's a miraculous thing. You can reverse a lot of damage, but some damage is irreversible. So
yeah, it really is.
Or it's very, you know, it would be hard to reverse without surgery. Like, you know, say things like, you know, maybe loose skin and stuff like that. So in taking a very healthy and integrative approach with the mindset of working, like you said, intuitively and uniquely for your body and not looking or focusing on anyone else, the pictures in the magazines, your neighbor, your best friend, your sister, your brother, whatever, and doing what feels right. And so it's the same thing. I feel exactly the same way. It's what I tell all of my clients and people on my channel when it comes to exercise. It should be fun. Like if you hate, don't try to run for 45 minutes on the treadmill every day at the gym, because you're probably going to end up getting injured. You're going to be bored. You're going to lose motivation, whatever it may be. Rather than if you love to hike, go hiking every Sunday. Do something that doesn't feel like exercise, because you're going to, you know, organically, inevitably do more of it and do it with more passion and intensity, which means you're going to burn more calories and have a more effective workout.
Exactly. Exactly. So, so step one, when you're getting ready to begin this new journey, ask yourself why you want to do this. Do you want to look like something? You want to identify what the emotional state you're in at the time is. So if you're in a state of fear or a state of insecurity or lack, then you're essentially going to invite more of that to you. You might get some instant success. Say if you do some kind of like the HCG diet or like, you know, go keto, your body might not do well with keto. That's why all these, even vegans, keto, paleo, all these different kinds of diets that are popular right now, they work for some people some of the time, but they don't work for everyone. And because everyone's energetic systems work differently and emotional systems work differently, right? Which brings me to my next topic, is nutrition, right? So how do you identify with all the over information that's out there? What do you tell your people to do to get started with nutrition?
Great question. So I feel like a lot of times in life, everyone wants to sell you a magic pill, a quick fix. A lot of things are very, very extreme. And to make any kind of extreme, drastic changes in your life are generally not sustainable for the average person. So especially, let's say you're a female and you are over 200 pounds, maybe you're 50 to even 100 pounds overweight. Trying to go from a standard American diet and, you know, eating whatever, whenever, not exercising, going from that to exercising 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and eating a strict vegan or vegetarian diet is just not realistic and not sustainable. And for those of you who are new to me and my content, aren't familiar with it, so you don't know my journey, so you know, I myself, I all my life, after being in the military and everything, never weighed more than about 125 pounds. And after having my daughter and a series of trauma and a lot of other events, I gained almost 100 pounds. I was well over 200 pounds at my highest. I'm only 5'2". And like, that's why I said I tried all these fad diets, all this yo-yoing just wreaked havoc on my hormonal and thyroid system, my emotions, my mental health, everything, only to ultimately have success when I stopped trying to do anything drastic, anything extreme, and just said, you know what, I'm just going to work intuitively. I'm just going to commit to making the best choices as often as possible, as much as possible, with the right intention, and doing things in an enjoyable way. So my biggest advice, you know,
me too, actually.
Yeah, the advice for someone who's, you know, already, let's say in pretty peak, you know, good athletic shape, and they're maybe going to try to prepare for a competition or something like what Justin here does, this advice wouldn't be the same. You're going to have a much more regimented, clean, you know, pure diet. But for someone just starting out, you don't need to go from a standard American diet to veganism or vegetarianism and some crazy, you know, strict diet. All you need to do is, if you have, let's say, a hamburger and French fries and, you know, a soda every day for lunch, let's just start with maybe not having a hamburger, you know, from the fast food joint, maybe starting with having a salad or some kind of healthy protein and combination of a good carb and some fats. And, you know, even maybe, I know this sounds crazy, but even maybe keep the soda. And if you do that and you can consistently eat a healthier lunch for a week, 2 weeks, and you're starting to feel good, what's going to happen is it's all psychological. And then inevitably you're going to be like, you know what, maybe today I'll opt for, you know, the fruit water instead of the Diet Coke. And you just slowly clean it up, and you eat, if you have a habit of eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's every night before bed,
I'm guilty of that.
just making a switch to a healthier version, maybe like a raw vegan dessert or something like this, right? Or having a bowl of fruit. It's like incremental changes, and you don't need to go to this extreme place. And the more that you consistently show up for yourself and set sustainable, realistic goals and changes to your diet, the more it's like the snowball effect, and you begin building momentum. And it's just, at least I have found, it's like the more you work out, the more you want to eat healthy, or the more you eat healthy, the more you want to work out.
Tight, you can suck in your abs, you start to get some definition there, and that starts to become more important than that gratifying feeling of being lazy and eating like shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, the way I work it is I usually take something that me and my client can both agree on, and just switch one thing once a week.
Exactly.
Once
like
a week
small,
at a time.
Sustainable, sustainable goals. And then showing up for yourself with that every day.
Now, the important thing to understand about nutrition is, I feel that most people don't talk about this kind of stuff, and these are the real things that you really need to pay attention to. Just because you're eating broccoli doesn't actually mean it's healthy for you.
Exactly.
Right? You have to look at, is it genetically modified? Any food that is genetically modified, which it's everywhere. All right. I've even seen cereals lately that say partially mechanically or
they have a lot of different terms.
synthetically made. Some crazy. It's not even actually food anymore. It's just chemicals. But when they modify the genes, that means they're modifying the DNA of the organics. So they're essentially making something a different species, like an alien. So we're eating aliens of DNA, and that DNA it doesn't know how to read our DNA. Everything that we consume, our DNA has a code that tells our body how to process it, right? So these DNA codes are warped from ours. And that is a big thing that's causing a lot of issues in people, because all of a sudden it's shutting organs down. All right. It's causing autoimmune diseases. It's confusing the immune system. So you need to avoid GMOs, chemicals, pesticides, hormones, which is really sort of everything that's not organic. And even organics, they have like 5 levels now. They have pasture raised, pasture bred, pasture finished. I mean, I can barely even keep up with all this stuff. But you know, you can tell, like when you don't go to the dollar store and buy all your groceries. Like the cheaper it is, you're paying for what you're getting. So really, really focus on putting good quality whole nutrients in your body, and again, one step at a time, because so much information out there. You can get lost in all this stuff. But once you start feeling the difference, you will feel it. Give it about 7 to 10 days, and you will start to feel a difference because it actually changes your microbiome.
Yeah.
All right. The positive bacteria starts to grow, and those bacteria in your gut's a second brain. And the gut directly speaks to your consciousness. So you'll start thinking more positive thoughts. You'll start sleeping, more efficiently. You'll start, having more creative ideas. Your creative energy will come alive. You'll start to feel alive again in ways that you haven't felt alive in so long. That's what you want to look for when you're going on this journey. Those are the things to pay attention to, not what you look like.
So
Bam.
true, so true. And most people don't realize an area that I specialize in or put a lot of emphasis in is mental health and wellness. And so many people don't know that 90% of the serotonin that your body produces is produced in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not familiar with what serotonin is, that's one of those are your feel-good hormones. The endorphins and the hormones, chemicals that are in your body that some people say who are suffering from various forms of mental health issues, mental illness, they may be deficient in. So that's where those pharmaceutical psychiatric drugs come in, is to help increase levels of serotonin and or increase or decrease levels of dopamine. And these are all your feel-good chemicals and hormones. So most people don't realize the majority of your serotonin in your body is produced in the gut. That's why you can eat, when you're eating certain things, food actually can be just as much of an addiction as cocaine, cigarettes, alcohol, because it can create that dopamine release response within the brain, the same as, taking a hit of that cigarette or drinking the alcohol, whatever it is, your fix. So there's going to be a correlation, whether you have a diagnosable mental illness or not, between the foods that you eat and how you feel. Absolutely. So interestingly enough, for any of you watching, if you do suffer from any type of mental health issues, especially if you are even on any type of psychiatric drugs, one thing that you'll never hear your psychiatrist ask you about is, what are you eating? How is your diet? How is your exercise? Because it's not necessarily a part of modern day, in the medical training for them to get much nutritional training. Right. And so they don't always know how much of an impact food has. But when I work with clients and I'm helping them get off of psychiatric drugs, as I have done so myself, the first things that we begin to look at are their diet, are their nutrition, and what are they eating, and also eliminating mind and mood altering substances that can have counteractive effects to all that, nutritional therapy that you're doing. So
exactly. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Dr. Mark Hyman he's the one that created the Broken Brain series. He just started a second series, and it's all about the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of the gut-brain axis. They're really doing a lot of really fascinating research. Yeah, they are. And we have about 2 trillion different types of bacteria. So in our gut alone. So we really are just like, at the very core, we are bacteria, which is so interesting with the whole sanitization craze. Everybody wants to be so, but we are bacteria. So we sanitize all that bacteria, and then it actually weakens our immune system. But I also, speaking of the gut, I want to touch on probiotics.
Sure. And actually, I don't know if you even know, I am a certified colon hydrotherapist.
No way.
Yeah. So,
well, let's thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, no, people don't often, they neglect the gut. They're doing all this important stuff with their exercise, and they neglect their gut. So
100%. Yeah.
Shoot it.
Hey, you gotta clean the pipes every now and then. I mean, really, a lot of people, are full of shit. Because our guts are so destroyed, everything just sits there, and I've seen that. I've worked on over 10,000 clients, and I'd say about 80% of people, they have their health issues are caused by all that stuff being in the gut and just being recirculated. So there's many different protocols and ways that you can clear it out, and colon hydrotherapy is definitely one of them. What's up, Esoteric Fitness? How you doing, brother?
Hi, nice to see you.
So probiotics. Our gut is about 85% positive bacteria, or good effective bacteria, and then there's about 15% that's pathogenic. There needs to be that balance to keep the ebb and flow of everything, right? But the more acidic our body is, the more everything throws it out of whack, the more off they get. But the interesting thing is with probiotics that you buy in the stores and stuff like that, we may not be getting the right kinds of positive probiotics that we need. and the symptoms don't always tell the truth, right? I've actually taken probiotics where it made me feel worse.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why you're seeing all these companies pop up for customized customized probiotics based on what's in your feces, basically. So they have this algorithm where you send in a stool sample and they test your feces and they give you a customized probiotic, and that is what will actually work, because you need to know that information to get the proper balance. And you'll be surprised when your gut is out of balance, you feel like complete shit in one way or another. And doctors in the Western medical world, they don't look for this kind of stuff, right? Bacteria being off creates candida, creates fungus, creates mildews, which ultimately end up turning into cancer. That's how cancer forms. The glucose can't go anywhere, so it ferments. And when it ferments, it off gases and creates a toxic environment, and then the cells metastasize so that it's protecting itself, right? That's how serious this kind of stuff is.
And with the whole body systems working together, what's important to know is, depending on if you have certain like autoimmune disorders, you have certain issues where you, through improper nutrition and diet, you've created internally, there's like a leaky gut syndrome and things happening. You will most likely be deficient in your nutrients because your body's not having proper nutrient absorption. Exactly. So, and every like chemical and metabolic system within the body requires nutrients and minerals for these chemical processes to occur. So it's like this cyclical effect and compounding effect, where if you are not eating right and you have other health issues, and you begin having like leaky gut, and you're not getting enough nutrients absorbed within the bloodstream, then on top of that, let's say you even have like some sort of mental health issue where you are also most likely already naturally deficient in certain nutrients. Now right there, you're continually to deplete. Then you take the individual who's also, because of our modern society and stress and anxiety, all these things, are then also abusing substances such as alcohol and other things, where alcohol has been proven to deplete the body of essential B vitamins, which are critical for brain health. So it's like everything is happening, then you're just depleting, not restoring. And then sometimes people think if they just throw in that probiotic, now they're golden, they're good to go. But it's not. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. So if you're gonna, especially if you're getting if you're getting the good probiotics, the best kind possible, the kind that like need to be refrigerated, then the thing is that costs a lot of money. So what's the point of even buying it if it's really, like I said, it's like lipstick on the pig, and you gotta you gotta dress up the pig first. You gotta evolve. So
exactly. So before you start getting into all the supplements and everything, okay, so supplements in and of itself, that's a whole different ballgame. Okay, the supplement industry is huge because they market, again, saying this pill is going to fix everything, right? You need this to feel this. Now, that's almost never the case. All right. And again, everybody's trying to optimize themselves, right? Everybody wants to be optimized. Balance is the ultimate optimization, but we're marketed towards a complete opposite direction. Right. We're marketed to take this pill or drink this shake or train this way and it'll make this happen. It's bullshit. Okay. When we focus on ourselves and we learn, okay, what does our DNA need? What do our cells need? What is my body craving? Right? We have two energetically processing systems in the body. And so one requires glucose and then one takes fat and turns them into ketones, right? We need both of them. If we go over to one side or the other too much, it creates an imbalance. The same imbalances that happen when we're too acidic, the same imbalances that we have when we're emotionally unstable, right? And if we're emotionally unstable because our body is unstable or out of balance. So really, like it's being proven like time and time again now, you can balance out, like mental disorders through nutrition and right? And through intentional living and taking care of yourself. Now, a few things I want to point out about supplements, because again, these things are the stuff that nobody really thinks about. Heavy metals and fillers, they're in everything. If you see supplements with any color in it, there's no need to put colors in supplements. there's absolutely no like benefit to it other than making it look pretty. And those are poisons. We're putting those poisons into our body, and usually there's 3 or 4 different colors, and then we have like titanium dioxide, silicone dioxide, magnesium stearate, all these ingredients. When they build up, we take enough of it. You know, like if you took that one supplement, you know, once a day for 3 months, nothing would happen. But nobody does that, right? Everybody has 10 different bottles of supplements in their house, and they're taking pre-workout and, you know, all this other stuff. And that stuff is the stuff that it's all combining together, and it's poisoning our body, right? Which is a big part of what's making everything so acidic. And when our bodies are acidic, it's just a breeding ground for cancer, like Esoteric Fitness said, right? So you want to look at the inactive ingredients, and really they can get away with potato starch. What's one of the main? Shit, I don't remember. the healthier inactive ingredients. Usually there should be no more than 3 ingredients in there. Okay, so if you look down at the bottom of the label and you look at the other ingredients, if there's like more than 3 ingredients there, you know that they're taking the cheapest, easiest way possible, and that the quality of the ingredients also are probably not going to be that good. Now, I'm a big fan. I'm actually doing. I'm waiting for my kid to get in here in a couple of days, but I'm doing this DNA specific supplement. So it's gearing towards addressing the SNPs in my DNA to smooth everything out, to optimize the balance of my body. So I'm excited about that, and I'm gonna share that here with you guys later on too. But you have anything on supplements?
The supplements, another note is, so as you begin, you know, like I would always recommend to people, if you're just brand new getting started on a weight loss or fitness journey, again, with the intuitive. So even a baseline, rather, I would even highly recommend people, even before they get down into like counting calories and tracking and getting to some of that nitty gritty things that can even cause obsession or unhealthy habits in the fitness routine, just by practicing intuitive eating only when you're hungry, eating 20-minute or longer meals, eating until you're full and then stopping, and beginning to practice like a consciousness and a mindfulness when you're eating, right? So as you begin kind of starting that journey and you're being more aware of when you're eating, why you're eating, what you're eating,
It's all good, right?
You are going to start having the, you know, you're going to start noticing the sensitivities in your body when you eat certain foods. So getting to your question with the supplements, there are many people, especially if your gut is tore up, especially if you deal with autoimmune and issues like this, which I personally understand, not just professionally understand. And I had to begin, you know, eliminating gluten and things from my diet because I have a lot of allergy sensitivities. So what many people don't realize is that a lot of supplements have gluten in them. So if, you know, you begin to find, whether you've been told by a doctor you have celiac disease or gluten intolerance, any of these things, if you just notice you just don't feel good after you eat, let's say breads or, you know, certain types of things that are known to have gluten in them, be conscientious. You can actually have those triggered allergic reactions or sensitivities to supplements because they have the gluten in them. So that's just something I always like to throw out to people. That's why, just as you said, reading the label. And it can be intimidating at first to become educated on what all these strange names are and what the, you know, different internal components are. But when you actually begin to understand and educate yourself on how to read labels, both food labels and
process,
you know, supplement labels, you'll begin to know what the names are. And it's crazy in the food industry how they're given permission to basically use like 30 different names for the same thing. Oh, yeah. So it's tricky.
MSG literally has 40 different names in there. It's insane. Yeah. Okay. So supplements, nutrition. So usually when I start, I'm actually starting a brand new fitness journey too now. Being El Natural and stepping more into my spiritual role and my teaching role. So this is a whole new experience for me, and I'm really focused on balance because I have done everything that you can do, and I fucked my body up. That what I thought for a while might have been beyond repair. Clearly, it's not, and thank God. But a really important thing to consider now is detoxification, right? So colon hydrotherapy is a big part of that. I'm a big fan of biohacking kind of stuff. Red light therapy, oxygen hyperbaric chambers, cryotherapy, photobiomodulation, PEMF therapy, floating. I said red light therapy, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I mean, there's even like, detox foot baths. There's, and even if you like with the infrared hydrotherapy, even if you don't feel comfortable going to a clinic, even practicing like at-home enemas, right?
Yeah.
Having
coffee enemas are amazing.
Yes, coffee enemas are amazing. So there's a lot of different forms, and that goes along with if you're going to take all this time, effort, energy, everything to begin changing and transforming your life.
Yeah.
It is step by step. It takes time. It's not about perfection, but rather personal excellence. And so as you begin to make changes, why put all that energy into finally getting out there and exercising and finally eating healthier and, and then not taking care of the insides as well. So it's a process. And when you'll notice as you begin to externally change and you're changing what you're putting in your body, you're changing how you're moving your body, that if the insides are, it's a toxic state, it will actually sometimes, it's gonna come out. And sometimes it comes out in, like you begin to not, like you're doing all this healthy stuff and maybe you're feeling like lousy, especially after a workout. You're feeling it's taking longer to recover. You're feeling sickly. You're having a lot of headaches, and these are detox symptoms.
You might sweat or smell really bad for a little while as your lymphatic system purges out all the excess proteins that got stuck in there.
And I think I want to add to that, right? So in the detoxing process, as you're getting started on your weight loss journey, I think that I want to add that to be conscientious, there's a lot of even fad detoxing diets and fad things that you can do to like, rush cleanse your system. And I always caution people against some of those as well, or to just be conscientious and work with your doctor or again, be intuitive, right? So with this specific example, if you are someone who deals with binge eating disorder, binge eating or other eating disorders, anorexia, things like that, bulimia, I suffered from binge eating for years, which stemmed from basically an inadequate nutrition plan. I was basically starving myself every day, eating the 1,200 or less calories a day that they always promote to everyone. But I'm sorry, if you're a female and you're like over 200 pounds, 900 calories a day is not enough to sustain you. And especially if you're working out and burning 800, 1,000 calories every day and you're only eating 900 and you're over 200, like and that's what I did. So I was overtraining, under eating, and it put so much stress on my body and in my mind that I would only make it so many days. And then as soon as I had a bad day, I might go home and eat 3 days worth of calories in 30 minutes. And the havoc that wreaks on the emotional system and everything that then after you binge eat, because you go, it's almost like a disassociative state. Then it brings about, it's an addiction. And then it brings about depression and low self-esteem. And then that's where the individual will be like, well, I'm just going to not eat tomorrow and I'll work out even harder. And the cycle begins again. So for a long, long time, I could not do any types of fasting. Because even if I had not had any episodes of binge eating, if I tried to go and do, some of these fasts, even like juice fasts and things that were recommended that can be super beneficial,
like a fucking maniac.
I would never do it properly because it would trigger that emotional, psychological response. So if you want to start detoxing because you're doing all this other healthy stuff for your body, take it step by step. Just start drinking more water, right?
It's huge. It's so simple.
Practicing some of these methods that we were just discussing that have, great detoxing effects, but it's slow and incremental, just like all the other changes that you're making. You don't need to go on this 10-day water fast and then end up hurting yourself more.
Yeah, seen that happen a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's a big thing. And so I always caution people against any kind of, again, extreme, and that goes with the detoxing as well.
Right. Once you're stable enough to do something extreme like that, then challenge yourself to it. But if you need to take everything in stride and remember the idea or the goal is balance. Everything is about balance. So people do all these hardcore things, but it's only beneficial if you're ready for it because it takes you to different places. I mean, a 10-day water fast, that's a spiritual experience.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And eventually
for me, 3 days is a spiritual experience. I can't handle more than that. Right. My body starts to feel like it's just crumbling and it's eating itself. I don't like that feeling. Right.
So actually, if you want the benefits of fasting, but don't don't feel that you're a good candidate, intuitively, it doesn't feel right to do even a 3-day fast, or it's definitely not something longer or crazier. There's other methods you can do, like intermittent fasting. That was something that was a huge part of my weight loss journey that also helped me overcome my binge eating.
Yeah.
Because just by delaying my meal as far into the day as possible, it allowed me to go ahead and allow my body to burn more fat in a fasted state. But then when I ate, since I'm still eating the same amount of calories, but in a shorter window, it helped me overcome that binge eating because I would eat fuller, more satisfying meals.
Right.
I was able to bring back, I'm a foodie, so I was able to bring back that kind of sensuality and enjoyment to my meals, but not over exceed my caloric intake for the day. And that actually did wonders for me in being able to enjoy the benefits of fasting that have, mind, body, spirit impact, as well as, but without triggering negative psychological impact.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Yeah. So I think that's all I got. I think that's good that's a lot of information to get started with. Yeah. Yeah. So we're both, essentially we're both integrative health coaches, because integrative just means you're considering the mind, body, and spirit. And that's just so important. So both of our information is in the description box below. And feel free to reach out. Love to work with you guys.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much for coming. See, Spiritual Bella says, Rachel, I was in the same boat as you. I was in the military and a gym rat for years.
Yeah.
Then I had my daughter in 2012. Been struggling with all the issues you're talking about. Need to connect with you. Yes, please do. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you, Spiritual Bella.
Hey, thank you for your service too.
Yes, thank you.
That's beautiful. I was in there 10 years too. Yeah, absolutely reach out. Let's all do this together. All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and till next time.
Yes, thank you. Peace.